Cross-sectional, time series,
Time panel
panel
data,
data.
time
Primary
series.
Yes,
data,
very good.
secondary data.
We have first
Pri-
discussed around
Primary,
discrete data
secondary.
and continuous data. Can you remember? Discrete
Yes,
and
sir.
continuous.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Then
Yes, sir.
further,
Yes.
whether
Yes,
it is
sir. Yes.
discrete, again, whether it is discrete or continuous, it will be of three different class again. What are they? Time series,
Cross
cross-sectional,
sectional and
Cross-sectional
Cross
and
panel.
sectional.
panel
and
data.
panel data.
Very good.
Panel data.
Very good. So till now, we have discussed the data types only. But depending
Yes,
on the
sir.
source, whatever the data types will be, they are further classified into two categories.
Yeah.
What are they?
Yeah, primary
Primary
and
and
Primary data,
secondary.
secondary.
Primary and secondary.
Primary data
primary
and
data,
secondary.
secondary data. So I
Secondary
hope
data.
up to this, it is clear to you what is there in data classification. Okay.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
now we are going to discuss about the data collection method. Whether our data will be primary or secondary, we have to collect the data. So how we collect the data, I'm going to discuss now. Okay, let me share my screen. So up to this, we have discussed in our last class, right?
Yes, sir.
Data
Yes,
classification,
sir.
primary data and
Yes,
secondary
sir.
Yes,
data.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So how we calculate, collect the primary data and how we collect the secondary data.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. So very first one is primary data collection method. Okay. So first of
Okay, sir.
all, so one of the very basic method is direct personal observation. Is the source of primary data collection. Direct personal observation, what does it mean? The experimenter is directly visiting the field if it is field oriented data. If it is experimental data, then he will measure the data directly. So this is direct personal measure, basically. Okay. This is one method. Second one is indirect oral investigations. So we don't have any access directly to the source to get data. So what we can do here, we can contact someone else and they will do the job on behalf of us, on behalf of me. Okay. So this is indirect oral investigation. We can take the example here. If we are trying to get some information from our district collector, okay, district collector, that means district collector is not easily reachable to everyone. So what we have to do here, we have to contact someone who is repeatedly in contact with the district collector and ask them to do our job on behalf of us. Okay, so this is indirect oral
Mediator.
investigation. Are you getting my
Sir,
point?
basically that is outsourcing.
Yes,
Outsourcing, sir, that is.
that is not exactly outsourcing, but we are repeatedly in contact with the third party and they will do the job. Okay.
Okay, sir.
It's
So
basically
next one
indirect,
is,
sir.
yes, basically indirect way of method collecting the data.
Yes.
Next one is person having some knowledge regarding the inquiry or cross-examined and desired information is collected. So wherever we are going to perform a job, so we have the data and we are going to verify this one. If it is verified, then it will be considered as primary data. Okay.
It's like Viva.
Next one is, yes. Next one is questionnaire. So do you
Google
have any
document.
idea? Yes.
Google Doc, sir. In that whole questionnaire will be there.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is questionnaire? Can anyone tell me?
It's a
Sir,
basic
basically
set
there will
of
be 30
questions
questions.
that we need to answer.
Yes. So we have a set of questions written in a paper or maybe in Google
In
documents,
Google
maybe in
Documents.
email also. So basically this is a set of questions based on which we are going to perform the survey. Okay. So questionnaire survey is another way of collecting data which is considered as the primary data. Okay. This questionnaire can be shared by physical visiting to the respondents. If it is physical visiting, then we'll have to take a printout of this questionnaire and
Sir,
visit
we
to
will
them.
not do physical when like meeting, sir. That is too much kharcha. Too much money will go. Going houses
Yes,
and giving.
definitely. Yes, yes.
Online.
So, yes. So, if it is possible, then we'll do. Otherwise, we have the option for email. We can send it in email. We can send Google form, and we can do data collection by telephone also.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so there is multiple methods. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next one is local reports. Local report, they are regularly collecting data and publish it without process. So this is also considered as the primary data. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
And last one is only local agents or correspondent are requested to supply estimated records. So whatever we, if we don't have any direct access, then we will request the local agents. Please do this job for me. So this is also considered as the primary data. Okay.
Sir, then who are
Then
our local agents?
yes.
Who are our local agents, basically?
Who are the local agents? Basically, say for example, if you have a job in panchayat office, okay, in panchayat office, you don't have access to different offices directly. So what we can do here, we directly contact to the officers sitting in the panchayat office and ask them to supply the data.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So these are the various sources.
Sir,
Not
I have a
limited.
doubt.
There, yes, please.
Sir, how is the third point and the sixth point? How are these two people different, sir? They're the same people, right?
Son, this is the person having some knowledge.
So the
Okay?
local agents also have knowledge, right? That's why you're going to them.
No, local agents is the third party. And here person is the experimenter itself,
What?
who is performing the experiment. Okay? Suppose you are performing the experiment and you are the person, you have some knowledge regarding the particular field you are performing the experiment. So you are just verifying the results.
Okay,
But
sir.
local agents is doing the job on behalf of you. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Let me know. Am I clear clearly?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
You are completely clear,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Clearly.
Okay, very good. So next one is secondary data collection method. Basically, what is secondary data? Can anyone tell me?
Sir, it is
Taking data
again from
from
the primary data, sir.
Sir, data which is not
Not
primary, like
from first hand.
Yes, data is
sir,
not
second-hand
primary.
data.
Second hand data.
Yes.
So someone has collected the data, they processed it and published, and we are going to use this data. This is secondary data, right? So source also be similar thing. So very first one is official publications. What they did, whether maybe government offices, private
Budget.
offices, whatever it is. So they collect the data, they process it, and they publish the processed data. So this is secondary data. Okay. Another one
Yes.
is reports of committee and commissions. Again, the same thing. They collect the data, they process it and publish it. Okay. Next one is publication by research institute or universities. This is
Example
again
is
same
5.
thing. Example like 5.
Yes, sir.
Very good. So if you are looking for the publications of ICFI, it will be secondary data. Next one is economic and commercial journals. The same thing. So every source, these are the basically source of secondary data. So they what they did, they simply collect the data by their own. For them, the data was primary, but they processed it and published it. So after publication, data becomes secondary. So we don't have any control over there. So we'll have to work on the published data only. Another one is publication of trade association, chamber of commerce, etc. So each and everything, look here, each and every source is basically related to the published data. So whenever we are using published data, it will be secondary data. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next one is merits and demerits of using statistics.
Sir,
So
I
very
have
first
doubt,
one,
sir.
yes.
Now, suppose we use second-hand data and made our research findings, and if
Yes.
someone else uses our data, that will become third-hand data then, like third party.
Can you repeat again?
Sir, suppose we are using our second-hand data to create research.
Okay.
and someone else wants to use our data.
Okay.
So our data will be considered as third party data, no sir? What will we call that?
This is
No.
secondary data.
Secondary
Maybe
data
third
for
party,
everyone.
fourth party, fifth party, you don't
Ah,
have any idea regarding this.
nice sir. They should
Okay,
give name,
when
sir.
we are
Primary,
going to
secondary, tertiary data we should keep, sir, name. Perfect.
no, not tertiary. This will be dimension. Okay.
Yes
So
sir.
listen here. So if you are going to use the published journal publication, so you don't have any idea whether how many people process this data and you can get this data. You don't have any idea. That's why once the data is passed through the first person, it will be secondary data. No matter how many people processed it.
Okay sir.
Okay. So
Yes
now
sir,
tell
clear.
me, yes. So where is the merits and demerits of using statistics? Can anyone guess what is the merits?
Sir, we can see the representation of our performance and all everything. That's a merit.
Gives data, I
Okay.
mean,
And
process.
demerit is it is expensive and it is not too accurate.
Oh, okay. Demerit is expensive and not too accurate.
Yes, like it's not a
Sir,
true
merits, it helps to
estimate.
compare data.
Okay, so
It can be
can you
easily
remember?
misled.
Okay, so
Helps
can you
in
Sir, it
remember
can
we
be
process.
have
easily
discussed
manipulated.
It does not show the actual performance of the company.
actual performance? No. Whatever we are talking about statistics, it should be accurate. We have already explained these things. Can you remember?
Yes, sir.
Statistics should be accurate. So this is not the valid part. It will give wrong result.
Why, sir?
Any other guess? If
Sir,
we
if the
use
data is
accurate,
misled, then the result will be wrong.
yes, data. If statistics is
So
misled,
how is it?
then data will be misled.
So
But
So you
the
primary
can't
statistics
consideration
can't
is
define
statistics should be
the
accurate.
situation, no, sir. We can't
Yes,
totally rely on statistics. So it does not show the actual performance.
yes. It is predictive in nature. We can predict future action. Okay, let's see what is there. Okay.
Yes.
So very first one, look. Very first one is statistics helps to represent the bulk data in a precise and definite manner. This is very fast merit. So whenever we are going to get the data, it will be raw data. So we'll have to process it and present in such a manner so that it can produce meaningful information. Okay. So statistics helps in this regards. Next one is compare the data and draw conclusions. So if we have cross-sectional data, say for example, we have two different companies and for the different companies we have same data for same parameters. So we can easily compare this one, okay, using statistics.
Same company, different years also, sir.
Yes, same
Different year
company,
past
different
year.
parameters. Yes, definitely. We can
That's
do
why we should not
that.
jump on conclusions. We should use statistics to compare data.
Yes,
So it
yes.
helps in decision making also.
Yes.
So statistics helps in decision making.
I'm not getting you clearly. Can you speak properly?
Statistics helps in
Helps in
decision
decision
making, she's
making.
saying. Decision making.
Helps in decision
Yes, yes,
making.
yes.
So decision
Yes,
make helps in decision making,
Decision
sir.
making, sir.
Decision making.
decision making, yes, very good. So
So do not
conclusion, draw
use
conclusion is nothing but decision making. What we
can
have
use
to
a
do.
chat box.
Decision making, sir.
Okay. Next one is statistics helps in forecasting the future trends. Basically, if we have the data, proper data or precise data or accurate data, then we can easily decide the trend of our statistics. Say for example, can you remember the time series data where we have data for different years, 2012 something, 2013 something, 14 something like this. So if we have the data up to 2020, then based on the data we can decide the trend and we can decide the future. That means after 2021, what will be the result? After 2022, what will be the result? We can decide this one, tentative result. Okay. Next one is statistical data and analysis provides a base for decision making and policy making. We
Yes.
can easily decide based on statistics. Okay. And here is the demerits. Not expensive one. This is not demerit. Demerit is very first one is statistics studies only numerical facts. Non-numerical facts cannot be analyzed using statistics. So if we are
Why,
going
sir?
to analyze, yes,
Why can't we use non-numeric facts? For them also we
no,
can do something, no, sir. Alternate
But that is not
solution.
under statistics,
yes,
no?
we
That is
have
not
to do
under
alternate,
statistics.
but directly we can't do that.
Sir, what are the
When,
examples of non-numerical?
Examples
yes,
during the
so if
pandemic. Okay.
example is, you can remember that the patient example, we have 75% male, female like this, okay? So
Smoking,
statistics can't
non-smoking,
help
that
us
one,
in this
sir.
figure. Yes,
That one you showed table, no, sir. Smoking, not smoking, age, gender, etc., etc. That one.
yes. Very good. So we cannot draw conclusions using statistics from that. So to draw conclusions on this data, what we have to do? We have to convert it into numerical forms. Then only we can use statistics. So directly we cannot use statistics on non-numerical data. Okay. Next one is data should be accurate. This is the point of concern here. Statistics can be misled. Statistics will give the accurate result if we use the accurate data. Otherwise, it will be misleading. Statistical methods can be used by experts only. There are numerous statistical methods, and the persons don't have any idea regarding those methods. They cannot be used it. Okay,
Sir, so we
so
can't do
this is
statistics like in methods for our research and all.
We are also experts, no?
Nah.
your, your research.
No, sir, for our research and all, we can't use statistics. That means.
Yes, you can do.
And then we are also experts, sir. Vamos.
You will be the expert.
Ari. We are using
When you are
statistics now,
doing,
sir. We are using statistics now, sir. Statistics can only be used by experts now.
statistic or statistics.
Statistics.
Look, when you are doing some average, you have the basic idea how to do average and what is
Then
the
we are
implications of
experts.
average. Like this, okay? So if you don't have any idea how to do average, then you cannot draw conclusions from average value also.
Yes. True.
Yes,
So
sir.
basic thing is you will have to understand the things, what is there. Only after that, you can draw conclusion. Okay? So same thing is here, statistics method can be used experts only. No matter whether he is expert as senior level expert or junior level expert, but he have the basic idea.
Okay, sir.
To some extent, statistical data are liable to mislead because always error term is associated with each and every information. Whatever information we are gathering from our business, there is some error term. So if we forgot to include this error term, this result will be misled. Okay. So these are the very few demerits of using statistics. And now we are talking about the types of statistics. Okay, so basically, till now we understand the classification of data, how to collect them, and merits and demerits of statistics. Now, what are the different types of statistics we have? So, very first one is descriptive statistics. Second one is inferential statistics. Third one is predictive, and fourth one is prescriptive statistics. So we have basically 4 different types of statistics. Okay. Let's see what is there in these 4 different types. So first one is descriptive statistics. This is basically the summary of all the data we have collected. Okay. Summary maybe includes average, maybe mean, standard deviation, maybe median, maybe mode, anything. Okay, maybe percentage, but basically it represents the abstract of the data we have collected, summary. Okay, next one is inferential statistics. What is there? We have a big population. Okay, but it is not possible to judge each and every elements of the particular population. So what we can do here, we can simply consider randomly few proportion of this population, a very few proportion of this population, that means very few elements, and test these elements and draw conclusion about the entire population based on the characteristics of these elements. We can take the example here. in your batch, if there is 70 students, so I am not going to judge each and every 70 students individually. What I can do here, for an particular objective, I can choose 5 to 10 students from your batch, and among these 5 to 10 students, I am going to judge the parameters. Okay, so whatever result I can get from these 5 to 10 students, I can generalize these results for entire 70 students. So this is basically drawing inferences based on the sample. This is sample, this is our population, and this is our sample. So drawing inference based on the sample characteristics about the population is inferential statistics. Is that clear?
Sir, but that is not accurate now, sir. How will that be
No,
accurate?
it is not accurate, but error term is always there. I am already informed you that if we forgot to include the error term, it will definitely mislead.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to include the error term. Okay, next one is predictive statistics. What is predictive? We have a time series data. We can easily decide the trend. We can take the example here. We have data from 2012 to 2021. Say for example, 21. Okay, so based on this data, I can decide the trend, whether our data is moving this one, moving this way or this way. I can decide the trend. So based on the trend, I can say what will be the result in 2022, 23 like this. So this is predictive. So
It's an
basically it
estimate
helps
type.
us to decide the trend. Yes.
Is it an estimate type?
Yes, estimate type. Basically forecasting. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Next one is prescriptive. So how many of you heard the name prescription?
Yes, sir. Very
Yes, sir.
important when
We
you go
heard,
to
sir.
hospital.
After we go to
Yes,
the
sir.
doctor,
What is there in the
prescribe
prescription?
medicines.
Arey, medicines are written, sir, in doctor handwriting.
Only medicine,
Tests and also.
test and all.
Please, sir, we
So
don't know. We can't understand doctor handwriting. We should ask pharmacy person only what is written, what is not written. We don't know.
okay,
We
very
should
good.
give,
So
give everything, sir.
That's
we
right.
are not the doctor here, so don't
Yes.
worry about prescription. Okay, if we can consider this prescription, look here in the very top level, the information regarding the patients mentioned here, right?
Also,
Yes.
doctor's name.
Doctor's name,
Sir,
patient
first
name,
clinic
patient
name.
age, yes.
First clinic
Clinic
name.
name,
will be mentioned.
doctor's name, phone
Yes,
number,
whatever it is, the information is
like,
there in the top. Okay, regarding
Yes,
the
sir.
doctors and regarding patients. After that, there is a horizontal line, a vertical line here in
after
between.
that, visiting hours, sir. Timings.
Yes, visiting hour, whatever it is, information.
Yeah.
Now look here. In the middle of the page, there is a line. In the left side, the doctors used to write the patient's condition about the illness of the patient. Why patient is suffering. Okay, reason and their symptom. They used to write it here, and accordingly they used to write the medicine or test, whatever it is required. So basically, a prescription consists of the primary conditions, current conditions of the patients, and accordingly the remedial measures. Okay.
Sir, before they
The
used to do that, now they write front and back. Front they write
Yes.
problem, back they write solution.
Safe paper.
Yes.
Same paper. Now we don't have column.
No, you don't have columns. If you visit standard doctors, then they will have it. Otherwise, you can get a simple paper also.
Sir, that means Kim's hospital is not standard, huh?
Yes.
Kim's hospital is not standard, sir. They don't have column in their prescription.
I don't know Kim's hospital.
Which hospital you know?
Okay, I suggest Kim's hospital to put the column there. Okay.
Yes, sir. Important, very important.
Okay. So the prescriptive statistics is similar kind of thing. First, it identifies the business conditions, then their future course of action. Okay. Same thing here. Combining the future present conditions and considering the future course of action. This is prescriptive statistics. So basically, we have these 4 different types of statistics with us. Okay. Now we are going to discuss one by one. Descriptives, inferential, predictive, and prescriptive statistics. So very first one is descriptive statistics. So whenever we are going to discuss about the statistics, we'll have to collect the data. So data will be in the raw form. We'll have to convert it into processed form. So this is representing the data representation. So basically, data representation refers to the form in which we are going to process our data, or we are going to store our data, and we are going to get meaningful information from the data. So this is data representation. Okay. So whenever we are collected, it was raw form. So we have to represent it in a standard form so that we can draw some conclusions from the data. So data can be represented in tabular form or visual representation. Visual representation includes diagrams or graph. Okay. Now
Sir,
I
pie
have a
chart?
question for you. Yes.
What about pie chart?
Pie chart is graph only, no?
Pie
Pie
chart
chart
is
is a diagram.
Pie chart is
Pie
a
chart
graph.
is a diagram.
Pictogram?
Okay. So everything we'll discuss whatever when it will come. Okay. It is there in your syllabus. Don't worry. I'll definitely discuss. Now I have a basic question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why we do for data? Why data representation important?
Sir, that is also my question, sir. I need it.
Why it is important? Can anyone?
Sir, we can clearly see it, sir. We
If
can
we
compare it.
don't
It is easy to
represent data,
compare.
we get confused between the things.
It is segregated.
Yes. So when we collect the data, it was in raw form. So we cannot draw conclusions from the raw data unless we processed it, represent it in a meaningful way. That's why it is important. Okay. There are numerous points to mention here. First one is better, easy and better understanding of the subject. Why we are collecting the data. Okay. Next one is provides fast-hand information about the data. Next one is helpful in future analysis. We can decide the trend using data and decide the future course of action.
Sir, but how is future analysis helpful? Like basically,
Future
what is it for
analysis
RU?
means no, future analysis means we have the data till 2021. Okay.
Yes.
So we can analyze the data. Say for example, we can consider the sales value of the company till 2021. Okay, and from the sales value, the managers can decide the trend whether we are making profits or we are gradually moving towards loss. Okay, so if our trend is in upward direction, that means we are making profit. If trend is in downward direction, then we are moving towards loss. So if we are moving towards loss, then we'll definitely close the company, or we are definitely do something else which can lead to remove this or eliminate the loss function. Okay,
Okay,
this
sir.
is future course of action.
Yes, sir.
So
Understood.
what we have to
Very
do in the
important.
current scenario so that we can make it profit?
Like
Very
COVID, sir.
Yes, like COVID. So we have to get vaccinated, otherwise COVID will affected in future also. Same thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, did you get vaccinated?
Yeah, only one.
Sir, same pin, sir. Me also only one. Which
Okay.
one, sir?
Sir, we do data representation regarding this.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
We'll have a survey in class, sir.
Yes.
Now only we will do, sir. Now also we have time. 25
Now
minutes. 25 minutes you have, sir.
25 minutes class.
25 minutes
Sir,
left.
which vaccine did you take, sir?
Sir, which
I
vaccine
used to
did you
take 30 minutes only, not more.
Sir, which vaccine
I
did you
started,
take?
I started 340, 240, and it will last till 210. 30 minutes only. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Another 6 minutes.
Another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Sir, 5
Okay, 5
5
minutes.
minutes,
Sir, then we should
Okay,
do
another 5
important work.
minutes.
Sir, we should do important work first then.
Yes.
We should do our important work, sir, first then.
Okay.
We'll take
So
the
these are
survey.
Sir,
the
attendance, more important.
attendance will be done after this 310. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
After 5 minutes.
Okay, sir.
After 5 minutes, class done, no, sir, you told.
After 5 minutes, discussion over, then attendance.
Then when class over,
Okay.
sir?
Then when data representation.
Okay, next one. Next one is tabular representation. What does it mean? Okay. Tabular representation is the systematic and logical arrangement of classified data in row and column. Basically, table consists of row and column. Okay. So this is tabular representation. Say significance of tabular representation is it simplifies the complex set of business data into simple one. Okay, it converts the complex set. That means we have the raw data and we'll have to put it in a table. So it simplifies the concept. Okay, unnecessary details should be eliminated. Repetitions of the data should be eliminated. Facilitates the comparison of the data. If we have data in multiple column for different parameters, then we can easily compare it. Gives the data an identity. What type of data it is, we can easily identify from tabular representation. And reveals the pattern. Pattern means trend. Pattern with which the figure with in the figure which cannot be seen in narrative form. Narrative form means when we have the data, raw data, so it is random in nature. So we cannot see anything from the random data. So if we present in a tabular form, so it will reveal the trend, what trend it is following actually. So this is tabular representation. Okay, so data can be
Sir,
classified
1 minute.
in
Can
tabular
you go back to that slide, sir? 1 minute.
This one.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
we'll just copy sir. For one
You have to make notes now.
Yes, sir. Done, sir.
Okay,
And click the
so
picture. Easy.
tabular, when we are going to represent our data in tabular form, we have to classify the data, arrange the data into different groups that resemble similarities. Okay, different groups we have to classify. So an ideal classification should be unambiguous. Whenever we are going to doing classification of the data, it should be unambiguous. Unambiguous means it should be simple one. Okay, not complicated, stable and flexible in nature. So when we are going to
Sir,
classify
what
our
is
data,
meaning of unambiguous?
unambiguous is complicated. Very ambiguous means very complicated. Okay, so classification should not be complicated. It should be simpler.
But sir,
Okay.
here you wrote should be unambiguous, no sir.
Yes, it should be unambiguous means simple.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yes,
when
sir.
we classify the data, it should be in two categories. It may be of attributable type. Attributes means the parameters which we can measure directly, and another one is measurable parameters. So when we are classifying the data based on attributes, we have this male, female like of attributes, so we cannot measure this directly. And another one is class interval, when we can be able to measure the data directly. Basically, numerical quantities. When we have numerical quantities, we use class interval. Okay. So basically, we have two classification nature depending on the nature. First one is based on attributes and based on class intervals. When we use attributes, when we are not able to measure the parameters directly, and we use class interval when we have the numerical data, we can measure directly. Okay, like height, weight, like this. So what is there in attribute? Okay, let's see. Classification based on attributes. Here simple classification that when one attribute is present. Okay, so attributes here male female. If we consider this one classification based on male female, this is attributes. So if male may be married, female may be married, there will be another attributes. So in this way, we can again consider this. So married male, married female, unmarried male, unmarried
Time up,
female.
sir.
In this way, we are
310.
classifying. Okay. Yes.
310, sir.
So okay, one more slide. Okay. So this will be the classification. In this way, we can classify our data into four categories. So this is attributable classification. Next one is classification based on class interval. What is there in class interval? First of all, we will have to measure the data. That is, data should be measurable, and we will have to decide the first class interval. Class means there is a range. This is 100 to 110. This is one class. 110 to 120, this is another class like this. So we'll have to decide the class here. So based on the class, we are going to put the value. So if we are talking about the patients, 75 patients, and how many patients weight is lying in between 100 to 100 pound, then it will be, if it is 10, then 10 will be the frequency for this particular class. Okay, and each class there is two boundaries. This is lower boundaries and this is upper boundaries. Okay, and the length of the class, that means 100 to 110, the lower boundary minus upper boundary, this length is 10. Okay, this 10 is known as the magnitude, class magnitude. Okay, it is mentioned here. Look, data divided into classes. For each class, this is class interval. For each class, there is a number of entities which is termed as the frequency, and each class there is two limit, upper limit, lower limit, and the magnitude. Length of the class is termed as the magnitude of the class. So we'll have to decide in this way. Okay, for each class interval, the frequencies given are aggregates of the preceding frequency, they are known as the cumulative frequency. So we will understand this scenario with an example in the next session. Okay, so
Done, sir.
up to this, if you have any query,